it sounds like you, first off, are super realistic, which is really cool because, like, talking about your transition or whatever here, I definitely didn't know what to expect. I knew it was going to be completely different, but it sounds like you're adjusting a lot better than I did as far as that's concerned. And it's also interesting. I've always wondered why people become RAs or become resident directors or things like that. And it's interesting to hear why you care so much about, like, making and caring about the student's experience, because I think that's something that's really needed. And just thinking about the RAs that I had in the past, like, I had some that went above and beyond, and then I had some that just were like, really, you're an RA? So it's interesting to hear it from your side as well.
The only thing with the RD position, or just applying to be an RA, usually it's because, like, I just need the housing, I'm just going to do the bare minimum and that's it. And some people do that and that's fine. But I feel like if you're going to put your time and effort into a job, you need to do more than the bare minimum. And I set high expectations for my staff, and I'm just like, I'm setting these high expectations because I'm just like, I want you to not only grow as an RA, just forget the RA role.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be a student leader or you want to pursue a certain career, at least you have the transferable skills to help you with that.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it. And it's, and usually it's because people become RAs because, well, financial reasons, or because someone in housing made an impact on them, or they want to become an RD because their supervisor made an impact on someone else who worked in housing. So that's usually, like, kind of like what usually happens.
Yeah. And it's shocking to me that you're an introvert, because I don't really see that just talking with you one-on-one, but it's really interesting to see, like, one, that an introvert, because I'm a total extrovert most of the time. Now, there are times where I just need some alone time and don't want to be bothered, but being that introvert and, like, being in this role too, I'm sure it challenges you as well.
Yes.
But and then, like, with you talking about how you love it so much, I think that's great, and I think your students definitely will recognize that, like, how your student was like, oh yeah, you know my name, like, of course, like, I need to know your name, you know? I think those little gestures and things like that definitely will help you within, like, your graduate assistant role. But you talked about too, like, how you're comfortable with sexual assault, but how you're not as comfortable with, like, suicide. And you said, like, you had kind of some exposure to that sexual assault side, but what do you think is something that scares you the most within the suicide realm? Or
the one thing that comes to mind, like, every single time I think about it, is the fact that I'm afraid I'm going to say something wrong. I'm just like, if I say the wrong thing, is that going to push the student over the edge? But I know that's not the case, but I feel like that's my fear when it comes to work. I'm just like, I've been trained on this. I know exactly what I need to do. And there's so many support systems resources on campus that I know, like, okay, I can tell them to. But it's also like, in that moment, if I have to talk to this resident, which is usually the case, first, I need to take myself out of the equation. I'm like, it's not about me, but it's about them. Just making sure that I'm asking the right questions and phrasing it in a way so that I can actually get the answer to see if, like, are they gonna. And of course, I can blame, like, are you thinking about committing suicide? Well, are you thinking about killing yourself? And just knowing the phrases about that. So that's, I guess, my biggest fear is that I'm going to say the wrong thing. But I know, like, that was the training I've been given, that I know I'll be fine, but I'm just like, I've never experienced it before. I never dealt with this, because it wasn't obvious to me, and I think that's, like, one of the reasons I'm just like, what?
And with anything, like, you know, did you have the Bobcats Who Care thing?
Yes.
So, like, with that, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I can't, like, I don't even know. And I personally have never had to deal with anything like that. But I think, too, just with, like, this class, helping skills, I think that'll help us, too, with just, like, talking about things. But also just realizing that, like, in the moment, like you said, like, it's not about you, it's about them. And, like, just being there for them, and then, like, making those words or phrases your own, you know? Because I think, too, like, just with the conversation I had with one of my students the other day, like they want you to be real with them and like want you to seem and be genuine. So I think as long as you're doing that, like I don't think you can necessarily say anything wrong or put them over the edge. Now I'm sure like they have triggers or whatnot, but I think too, like if you're there for them, you're there for them. And so like even if they do go off the edge or do whatever, then you'll be there for them, you know, in a sense. So I don't know. I think with that, it's always scary because like the unknown's always scary, but also too like realizing that like with helping skills or whatever, that this will definitely try and assist you in having those conversations, you know. I mean, I definitely don't think no matter how you phrase it, are you thinking about killing yourself, will come out just lightly off the tongue, you know.
Yeah, and I think it also depends on like every situation is going to be different. Even with a student, it's like this one might be like perfectly calm, and someone else might be like crying hysterically. Like it's definitely going to, each situation is different.
Yeah.
So I also realize that's going to be something as well.
Yeah. I think you'll do great, and I think just the fact that you care so much about your students now, it's going to be cool to see how you develop even more, like, in your experience here, but then also, like, maybe we'll talk about this later on about, like, if you do feel more comfortable with those different types of situations as you get more experience with different things, so.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, like, and even one of my supervisors said that, well, my supervisor at the time, because I switched supervisors, in the past, like, 2 weeks, he said that, like, it doesn't get easier, like, you're always gonna have those issues, but, like, you do get confident when it comes to, like, I guess, talking to students about it, so I'm just like, okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced it yet, but I'm like, I can see.
Yeah, I think you'll do great. Okay.
How long is it?